Did you know that while some states in the U.S. have grown at record-breaking paces recently, others have declined just as fast? Even though the U.S. is growing overall, not everywhere is growing at the same rate, to say the least, and there are plenty of states where people are actually leaving in droves. So today on Across the Globe, we're going to be looking at the slowest growing states everyone is leaving. Number 10. Mississippi. According to the latest census numbers, while Mississippi saw positive growth between 2022 and 2023, it was only a growth of 0.03%, or an increase in the state's population of less than 1,000 people. That makes Mississippi the 10th slowest growing state in the country. For comparison, the state that saw the biggest increase in its population last year was South Carolina, which saw an increase of 1.71%, over 90,000 people. According to the Wall Street Journal, the state's slow growth is due to two main issues: a lack of people moving to the state, coupled with young people moving away, which is a phenomenon known as brain drain due to young, educated people taking their talents out of the state. This is a pretty significant issue. Mississippi has the lowest rate of civilian labor force participation in the country at 53.9%. compared to the overall country's rate of 62.7%. According to the state's governor, part of the reason young professionals are leaving is due to a lack of cities in the state and a desire amongst young people to live in larger urban areas. Another is a lack of diverse job opportunities, as the state's economy is mostly known for agriculture and manufacturing. Additionally, young families are moving out of state to look for better opportunities for their children. For instance, the state's school systems frequently rank as some of the worst in the country according to their test scores. Number 9. Alaska. Alaska saw a positive 0.02% increase in its population between 2022 and 2023, equating to an increase of only a few hundred people. One study conducted by the University of Florida found that most of those leaving the state are Alaskan-born residents. Furthermore, Alaska's ability to keep native-born residents there is one of the worst faring in the country, as it retained only 48.7% of those born there. A similar study, this one conducted by the Alaska Department of Labor and Workforce Development, discovered that only 52%, or a little more than half, of Alaska high schoolers who graduated in 2005 still resided in the state. While there's not one single factor that's causing this exodus from Alaska, some factors include poor school systems, including both K-12 schools and universities, along with a lack of affordable housing and a lack of economic opportunities. What's interesting is that when it comes to economic opportunities, there are actually more job openings in Alaska now than ever, and the job opening rate is actually double the national average. However, the economy lacks diversity, making the opportunities that are available pretty narrow. Number 8. Pennsylvania. While the states we just looked at saw small positive gains in their population, Pennsylvania saw a negative change, with a 0.08% decrease. Some of the top reasons people are leaving the state of Pennsylvania include those of retirement age moving elsewhere, people moving to be closer to family, and residents seeking a different lifestyle. Rising housing costs and high taxes, along with dissatisfaction with the state's politics, are additional issues. Most of those leaving are of working age, between 20 and 64, and this trend is expected to continue. For example, the state's working population is expected to decrease 2.6% between 2020 and 2025, and then another 1.7% between 2025 and 2030. Number 7. Oregon. Between 2022 and 2023, Oregon's population decreased from 4,239,379 to 4,233,358, a decrease of over 6,000 people and a decline in its population of 0.14%. Some of the reasons that people are leaving Oregon include high taxes and issues in cities like Portland, which has notoriously struggled with crime, drug issues, and homelessness. Because of this, Portland was one of the fastest shrinking large cities in 2022, and its population continues to decline today. While those leaving the state of Oregon are from all different age groups, the most represented group is families, or children along with adults between the ages of 35 and 55. What's particularly troubling about this decline, according to economists, is that the state has historically relied on in-migration, or those moving to the state, to help grow its economy. Now, with the state's decreasing population, this may result in a blow to the state's economy. Number 6. California. California's population decreased 0.19% over the course of the past year, a decline of over 75,000 people. While that's lower than the number of residents California lost between 2021 and 2022, which was about 350,000 people, it's still pretty significant. So why are people leaving the Golden State? Well, the state's high cost of housing is one main factor. Here, the median home sale price as of January 2024 was about $739,000 compared to a little over $402,000 nationally. And while the cost of housing significantly impacts the overall cost of living in California, the cost of utilities, groceries, transportation, and healthcare are all well above the national average as well. It's not just individuals who are leaving, though. Businesses are moving out of the state too. Tesla is one company that recently moved out, while others include Oracle and Charles Schwab. Finally, when many tech companies went remote during the pandemic and stayed that way, employees moved out of the state in search of a different lifestyle and lower cost of living. Lastly, in addition to California's high cost of living, other factors driving people out of the state include homelessness and dissatisfaction with the state's politics. Number 5. West Virginia. West Virginia saw a decline in its population of 0.22% between 2022 and 2023, with its population dropping from 1,774,035 people to 1,770,071. Interestingly, West Virginia is the only state in the country that has fewer residents today than 70 years ago. One main reason that people are leaving is that they're searching for better job opportunities along with better pay elsewhere. The state also struggles with adequate cell phone and internet services, and some people here complain that there's simply not enough to do. Finally, as we've seen with some of the other states we've looked at so far, dissatisfaction with how politics are going in West Virginia is another reason. One potential impact of West Virginia's population loss is that the state may lose seats in Congress. Also, as population sizes at least partially dictate how federal funds are allocated, West Virginia's declining population means potential financial challenges, especially as the state relies more on funding due to high poverty rates and a heightened need for programs including Medicaid and food stamps. West Virginia has taken several actions in an attempt to curb the state's declining population, including proposals to remove the state income tax and a program designed to lure remote workers there through cash incentives. However, it doesn't appear that these measures have been enough, or at least not yet. Number 4. Illinois. In Illinois, the population decreased 0.26% over the course of the past year, resulting in a loss of over 32,000 people. This is the 10th straight year in a row that the state has seen its population decline, with only West Virginia having a longer consecutive track record of population decline. While one study found that the top reason for Illinois' residents moving out of state was due to high taxes, another found that the top reasons were work-related, followed by retirement and family-related reasons. In terms of taxes, it's no surprise that at least some residents are citing high taxes as a reason for leaving, as those in the state of Illinois pay the second highest property taxes in the country, behind only New Jersey. According to WalletHub, in addition to high property taxes, Illinois has the 9th highest tax burden in the country. Finally, while Illinois is losing residents as a whole, cities like Chicago have also seen significant population declines, losing over 32,000 residents alone in 2022, or 1.2% of its population, which was the second largest population decline out of large cities in the U.S. Primary reasons for the Chicago exodus include a high cost of living driving people away, along with a lack of racial and economic equity in the city. Number 3. Hawaii. Hawaii saw a 0.3% decline in its population between 2022 and 2023. However, this isn't just a recent trend. This is the 7th year in a row that Hawaii has seen a decrease in its population. Many of the people leaving are unfortunately native Hawaiians who are being pushed out of the state due to the high cost of living. According to one recent article, for instance, every year approximately 15,000 native Hawaiians leave for other states, meaning that the mainland U.S. now has a larger native Hawaiian population than the state of Hawaii does. Nevada, and in particular Las Vegas, is where many native Hawaiians end up relocating to, given the relatively more affordable cost of living and opportunities to work in tourism. Another popular state that Hawaiians move to is California, which, despite having a high cost of living, is still lower than Hawaii's. So just how expensive is it to live in Hawaii? Well, according to the Missouri Economic Research and Information Center, Hawaii is the most expensive state to live in the country according to its cost of living index, which is 180.3 compared to the U.S.'s index of 100. Groceries, utilities, transportation, and healthcare are all more expensive than the national average, but housing is where it gets really expensive, at an index of 313 compared to the U.S.'s 100. According to Redfin, for instance, the median sale price in Hawaii as of January 2024 was almost $736,000. Number 2. Louisiana. Louisiana saw a decrease in its population of 0.31% over the course of the last year, from 4,588,023 to 4,573,749. That means that it lost over 14,000 people in the last year alone. Overall, Louisiana has seen its population decrease 6 out of the 12 years between 2010 and 2022. There are several factors that explain the state's declining population, including a high rate of poverty and lack of diversity when it comes to job industries. In terms of its poverty rate, Louisiana has a rate of 18.6%, compared to the U.S. average of 11.5%. In addition to issues with poverty and its economy, Louisiana, as you probably know, faces pretty severe hurricanes, which end up displacing people and ultimately driving them out of state. Finally, many families are also leaving due to the state's poor education and healthcare systems. One consequence of this population decline is that the state is losing political power. For instance, when Louisiana's population decreased about a decade ago, it led to the loss of a seat in Congress. A similar result may be ahead for the state if this trend continues. Number 1. New York. New York saw the biggest percentage decline in its population, losing 0.52% of its population between 2022 and 2023. All in, the population decreased from 19,673,200 to 19,571,216, a drop of almost 102,000 people. Two of the biggest factors leading to the loss of residents from New York State include the rise of remote work opportunities, meaning that people don't have to live in the Empire State to work, along with a high cost of living. When it comes to the latter reason, New York has the 4th highest cost of living index in the country, at 125.9 compared to the U.S. average of 100. Housing is particularly expensive, with the state seeing a median sale price of $518,000 as of January 2024, although that number jumps to almost $800,000 when you look at cities like New York City. Most of those leaving New York are heading to states including Florida, along with nearby states including New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. What about why these big cities in America are empty?